Good morning, everyone, and welcome. This is part two of what we started yesterday. Yesterday, we pretty much set it all up ready for painting. The painting is now set. We do have the small little repair here, which has now been sanded. I will hit that very quickly with some undercoat, and then we'll put one of the first camouflaging colours on there. So before I do that, I'm just going to revise or give you a revision of yesterday. So we're going to paint most of this because the colour kind of comes in and out a few times. Just to be safe, we're painting here. Anywhere double stickers, we're not painting. All this section here, not painting. We're painting here, and this one is deliberately on an angle because we do kind of have to come up this way and the bottom of this way, and they've got to kind of be in line. So yeah, and again, we'll paint this section. Flip the ship around. A bit more involved in this one. Kind of looks like markings of a Bismarck. So we're painting the front section, this section here. Obviously where the tape is, you can feather it out a bit more. But yeah, this section, midsection, and a couple more as we go along. So one more here, another one here, and just the rear bit at the end. So when I'm painting, I know this section here, don't touch it. Like, I don't need to go near it. There's no point, sort of messing it all up. I taught you this yesterday so that when we do the other colours, it actually makes sense how to do the separation. Because we could have just painted this all out and be done with it. But you need to know how to check out the ship, how to work out the markings, and how to put it on there. So this is why we're doing this even on this stage. Okay, so I'll undercoat that little end repair and I'll come back. Okay, I've got the gun spraying really fine. I might just show you this one on camera. I probably should have some gloves on. I'll come back with some gloves. Now, there's the repair. Now, this tape is a little not sticking the way I wanted it to yesterday. It's some would argue that I should have put new stuff, but the new stuff was a little too strong. So for the fact that I just need to barely coat this, I'm just going to let that go off for 10 minutes. So I'll start off doing one section and then I'll come back after I've finished. No, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. It's a little too thick. Let's see how thick it is. Now we've reduced it. Dust coat. Yeah, that works. So I got this coming out real thin now. I was having a little bit of trouble with it. Seems like I've got it sorted now. And what I did is I just wound the paint all the way back just to make it easier. Just on a roll here. We'll just do that as a bit of a dust coat. Each one. Just to get these problems nutted out now rather than later. So we don't spray here, back to here, Here we go, now for paint, plenty of paint. Turn it around. Put it in the light so I can see it spraying better. And I'm going to recommend at least 2 coats with this stuff. I've got it thinned out nice to come out, which was wrong the first time. It was just a little too thick. That might be to do that. Got to be a little bit careful there. My tapes come unstuck, but I know the other one comes all the way down there, and I'm not too bothered by it. As long as it's framed back down onto that line, I think we'll be pretty right. Just push that one back in. Thank you. Because that was a little too much. Okay, now you've seen one coat. I'll come back after I finish the second coat. So there I have, well, 3 light coats on both sides. It's still drying. This side should be probably a bit drier. We don't want painted. So yeah, what I'll do now is I'll peel all these tapes off while it's still wet. There it is now with all the tape off on both sides. The pieces that we want painted are now painted, and the other pieces aren't. Some of this tape I'm going to have to remove because it's lost the stickiness now, and we're at risk of damaging the red. So what I also may have to do is recover this. Anyway, I think we're going to leave it there for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode about putting some different paints on. Another little bit of a rough one. Not having a good trot with this at the moment. And what I'll do, I'll get prepared up for the next one. So yeah, and this has to sort of dry off now for 24 hours because, as I said yesterday, it kind of goes off pretty quick, but it needs curing time for like 12, 24 hours. So that's where we're at right now. Like I said, hope you enjoyed the episode, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye. So I've just peeled some of this tape off because this was coming off anyhow, and what I suspect it is, it's bled through. The good thing is we still got our white tape mark on there. Once we finish the camouflage, we can flip it back. We can put one strip back this way and just touch up the red just a little bit. I've still got all the red already mixed, so to touch this up is not going to be too bad. But there is the line that I was telling you about. So yeah, by the time we peel that tape off, it's going to be, should be a nice crisp line. But what I'll do now, I'll leave this tape here rather than redo the whole lot. I'll put a fresh bit of tape across here. That'll stop that for the next one, because we've still got 2 more colours to go on here yet. And to be honest with you, I don't really want to be pulling this all apart to redo it all again. So yeah, I just thought I'd add that. So I've just come through and remastered back up over that white line. I can already start to see it's coming together. It's got that that slight Bismarck look to it. So yeah. So we're going to let that go off, and so I've just finished the last video, and I've had to make an extra bit to come in here because after all that work I just did, and after all that work I just showed you, I went ahead and undid it all. You're like, are you mad? I'm like, no. What I mean by undid it all, the entire edge, I painted the whole lot. You're like, well, what was the point of all that stuff that we did earlier on? The point of it is to kind of guide you, to show you how do you work out from a drawing to a plan, like the plan, and how do you put it onto the ship. So we worked out roughly where all the light areas were going to go, and well, we hadn't worked out the other ones, but we did work out where the light ones were, so that we could roughly paint that section. I was kind of happy with it, but kind of wasn't, and I'm like, you know what, maybe all that stuff was not an entire waste, but perhaps what we should have done was done all this anyway, and then I could have showed you exactly how we're going to do the camouflage, which I have to do anyway. So then I was left with the dilemma: do I edit and chop out all the stuff that I did, or do you want to see the real world build just the way that it actually went? And in the end, I came up with, I've been showing you the good stuff and the bad stuff of exactly what happens on this build. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so good, and yeah, that's just the way that it is. So I've had to come in and add a little bit of this one to make this make sense to you, that how is it that after all that stuff that we did, is this now painted? So what we're going to do now is basically exactly what we did before, but instead of just working out where the shades are going to be, where it's now all shaded. So what we're actually going to do is actually put the camouflage pieces on there that we need to keep. So, and the only way I could really figure out how do I bring you up to speed with this, well, is to basically make another video. So don't think that everything else I did was a waste. It's a good learning curve of how do you go off a plan to work this stuff out. And I'm still going to be working out all that stuff from the plan with a tape measure and a ruler, and trying to work out exactly where all this camouflage is going to go. So anyway, as always, I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I hope I see you on the next one. Bye.